Hey everyone, Megadeth Jason here, and welcome to another edition of my Madden 2017 franchise. This is the recap edition of the 2016 NFL season. We'll go ahead and we'll look at some of the statistics, preview the playoffs, look at the standings, and see who has the number one draft pick in the 2017 NFL draft. Take a look at some of the news headlines here quickly here for 2017. Wow, this is kind of clunky. We'll go ahead and we'll just look at the schedule here quickly. The playoff schedule is going to be as follows. The Steelers are at the Chargers, Lions at the Panthers, Raiders at Texans, and Giants at Cardinals. Obviously, I have the bye. I believe New England also has a bye, and a couple other teams. We could look at that here as well. When we look at the overall standings for the year, I ended up finishing the best record with 15-1, but we'll look at some of the other divisions as well. The Ravens ended up at 10-6, Bengals 9-7, Steelers 9-7, Browns 5-11. Texans win the division at 7-9, much like in real life last year. A poor record in winning the division. I'm kind of surprised by this one. I thought maybe Indianapolis might pull out this division. AFC East, the Patriots win at 11-5. AFC West, the Chargers win at 10-6, Raiders 9-6, and the Super Bowl defending champion Broncos at 7-9. And last year's playoff team, the Kansas City Chiefs, also at 7-9. Very interesting. I finished 15-1 in the division. The Lions finished 9-7, Green Bay 7-9, and Chicago 4-12. NFC South had the Panthers win at 11-5. The Cowboys win the NFC East at 12-4. The Giants get the wild card spot at 10-6. In the NFC West, the Cardinals get the division at 11-5. The Seahawks just missing out at 9-7. Based off of this, I'm going to take a guess that the 49ers will have the number one pick, but let's have a look-see. So with that settled, your number one pick in the 2017 NFL Draft will be the San Francisco 49ers at 4-12. The number two pick will be the Chicago Bears at 4-12. Los Angeles, Cleveland, Tennessee, Miami, and then Washington. So there you have it, folks. The 49ers will be drafting number one overall. I would presume that they're going to be targeting quarterback, but we'll take a look at their stats just to see why they finished so poorly. We'll take a look at my individual stats here. First, Sam Bradford finishes with 3,604 yards, a 66% completion percentage, 24 TDs, and 10 interceptions. So some fairly modest numbers in the passing touchdown category. But Bradford did all right with yardage. We didn't turn the ball over a lot. He was efficient enough, and he really got the job done for me due to the injury to Teddy Bridgewater. Adrian Peterson finishes with 1,812 rushing yards and wins the rushing title this year, and also finishes with 19 touchdowns. Jerick McKinnon added 214 yards and 3 touchdowns. I could have used McKinnon a bit more this season, but towards the end of the year, Peterson was just starting to have some monster games, so it made sense to go with what the hot hand was. In receiving, Laquan Treadwell finishes with 57 receptions, 1,026 yards, and 7 TDs. A very, very promising rookie season for Treadwell. Pruitt finishes with 707 and 6 TDs, and Rudolph, who was hurt the majority of the season, the middle part of the season, finishes with 662 and 5 TDs. Patterson added 5 TDs. I'm very happy with his production. I think he will have a more prominent role in the offense in 2017. Diggs finishing with 263 and 1 touchdown. A disappointing season by Diggs. However, Diggs was hurt a large majority of the season. When we take a look at the defense, let's take a look at our sack leader here. Our sack leader would have been Linval Joseph with 5, Everson Griffin with 5, Floyd had 4, Barr had 4, and Brian Robeson had 4. And the team leader in interceptions was Andrew Sendejo with 2, Xavier Rhodes had 2, and Terrence Newman had 2. Others contributing as well. We'll go ahead and look at the 49ers here just to see who possibly they might pick up. I'm kind of curious. Kaepernick and Gabbert each with, Kaepernick with 1,660 for yardage, Gabbert with 1,035, and Thaddeus Lewis with 390. I really can see the 49ers targeting a quarterback this draft. I think this is almost a given. Let's take a look at the Bears. Bears had Jake Cutler with 1,727 yards and 7 TDs. David Fales played, and Brian Hoyer played as well. I could see possibly the Bears targeting a quarterback as well. When we take a look at the overall NFL leaders in passing, Tom Brady finished number 1 in passing this season. In rushing, Adrian Peterson wins your rushing title. In receiving, Julian Edelman leads with 103 receptions, followed closely by Danny Amendola with 102 and Antonio Brown with 102. Your yardage leader for the season is Steve Smith Sr. with 1,678. And your touchdown leader for the season is Julio Jones with 14 touchdowns. We take a look defensively. Let's see who our league leader in sacks was. It was DeMarcus Lawrence with 15.5 sacks. Our interception leader for the season was Orlando Scandrick with 7 interceptions. Also tied with Trumaine Johnson from the Rams, who also had 7 interceptions. Our kicking leader for percentage, Blair Walsh was 26-29. He finished with 89%. Our percentage leader was Robbie Gould with 95. The longest field goal of the season was Blair Walsh with 60 yards. Extra points made leader was Dan Bailey from Dallas. Punting leader was Pat O'Donnell with 87 punts for Chicago. As far as yardage is concerned, O'Donnell won that as well. Kick returning. Let's take a look at the yardage leader for kick returning. Jarvis Landry finishes with 825 yards. When we look at touchdowns for kick returns, Ladarius Webb had 2 touchdowns, and we had multiple people that followed with 1 touchdown. We look at punt returns. The leader in punt returns is Antonio Brown with 55 punt returns for 505 yards. Yardage leader would have been Cordell Patterson with 513 yards with a 17.1 average this season. We'll take a look at the weekly awards and who won each weekly award. We had Kyle Rudolph at week 4. Brady won a lot of these awards for Offensive Player of the Week. That most likely would explain why I believe he's MVP, but we'll look at that here in a second as well. Dak Prescott, the rookie, winning an award there. Sam Bradford in week 11. Carson Wentz, the rookie, picking up NFC Offensive Player of the Week in week 12, along with Brady winning again in the AFC. Adrian Peterson winning in week 15, and week 16, Tony Romo winning in week 17. So let's go to the yearly awards quickly. Your NFL MVP is Tom Brady. Your Coach of the Year is myself. Your AFC Offensive Player of the Year is Tom Brady. Defensive Player of the Year is Jamie Collins. Offensive Rookie of the Year is Corey Coleman. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Joey Bosa. Best QB, Tom Brady. Best running back, Danny Woodhead. Interesting. I'm going to take a look at his stats here after this. That's a very precarious person to be leading or to win the best running back award for in the AFC. Best wide receiver, Steve Smith Sr. from the Ravens. Best offensive line, Marshall Yanda from the Ravens. Best defensive line, Geno Atkins from the Bengals. Linebacker, Elvis Dumervil from the Ravens. Best defensive backs, Calvin Pryor III from the Jets. And best kicker, Steven Gostkowski from the Patriots. When we look at the NFC, our offensive player of the year was Russell Wilson. Defensive player of the year, Deion Buchanan. Offensive rookie of the year, Ezekiel Elliott. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Vernon Hargreaves III. Best QB, Aaron Rodgers. Best running back, Adrian Peterson. Best wide receiver, Julio Jones. Best offensive lineman, Zach Martin from Dallas. Best defensive line, William Hayes from the Rams. Best linebacker, Bobby Wagner from the Seahawks. Best defensive back, Orlando Scandrick from Dallas. And best kicker, Blair Walsh from Minnesota. I want to go ahead here and look at Danny Woodshead's stats here for the Chargers. Okay, Woodhead finished with 203 carries for 919 yards at 14 touchdowns. He also finished with 19 receptions for 266 yards and 2 touchdowns. Overall, let's take a look at the team statistics. The number one team in offense in the NFL was the New England Patriots with 6,719 yards. Passing, the Patriots with 4,856 yards. Rushing, Buffalo Bills with 2,265 yards. Points per game, the Patriots with 32.4. And first downs, the Patriots with 328. When we take a look at the defense, the number one defense overall were our Minnesota Vikings with 3,928 total yards. Passing defense, we had the second rated passing defense. We gave up 3,365 yards. Gave up the least amount of rushing yards with 555 points. We gave up 251 points. Leader in sacks were the Dolphins. Leader in fumble recoveries were the fumble calls with the 49ers. Interceptions were the Seahawks with 21. We'll take a look really quick here and see if we can see the total offensive points scored for the season. I would have to think that we have to be up there. It does not give a total points per scored. It does not. Penalties, we have the least amount in the league at 27 for 237 yards. We'll take a look at some of the transactions here just to see if there's any coaching firings or any pickups here before the playoffs. Texans signing Scott Crichton to a one-year deal before the playoffs. Hassan Ridgeway signs to the Steelers. Brandon Thompson to the Giants. The Bengals fire head coach Marvin Lewis. The Colts fire head coach Chuck Pagano. The Packers fire head coach Mike McCarthy. Excuse me, I screwed that up here. The Titans fire head coach Mike Mularkey. So there you go. There's your coaching firings. The Titans, the Packers, the Colts, and the Bengals all have coach openings this season. And then we recap some of the trades that occurred this season. I think the biggest trade, obviously, was our trade to the Eagles for the number one. We traded our number one and this Nick in 2017 and our 2018 fourth round pick to the Eagles for Sam Bradford, much like the Vikings did in real life. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and end there, and that recaps the 2015 season or 16 season. 15-1, our overall record. I was surprised that we finished that good. I thought we would finish much worse. I figured we'd at least make the playoffs as a wild card. So I am a bit surprised, but I will take it. I'm not going to complain. It is one of the best overall seasons I've ever had in a Madden game. I may have to increase the difficulty to all Madden. We'll see how the playoffs play out, but I will see you guys in the divisional round of the playoffs.